All right, so for your online report generator, you need to be on a tax screen, any tax screen. If you're hauling around like a CAML library, that's what we see most often. You'll get errors when you're signing into report generator. The first thing to do is to log out and back in, and from your first tax screen, type in CPT rep gen and see if you can't get into the report generator. Takes a minute. Sometimes you get a screen full of gobbledygook. And then our online report generator should pull up. Oh, oops. Our online report generator should pull up listing your county and the reports that you own. So when you're looking at our online, the navigation and information is typically around the edge of the screen. So if I click down here, I can view all reports in the county that you're in. If you click on it again, you go back to your reports. On the left, we have the option to create a new report. We also have a FAQ. This FAQ is available from every screen. Right now, it just has like a section about the basics and a section about repeating fields. We have another couple things that we'll be adding soon or with our next release. If we go through here and there are, more frequently asked questions, we'll add that, but that is a screen that's available from all of our report screens. Over here in the question mark, this is our help menu, and that's basically our manual for report generator. As you get our new online, you'll have help menus for each page that will be basically the manual, the basic help. If you have a question about the page, something isn't working the way you want to, this is the best place to start looking because it will go into some of like the nitty-gritty details of why something might not be working. So that one was for our report list page. If we look in the middle, we can look at our grid here. We start with category. We used to have different menus that you'd have to go to get different categories. And now they're all here in the same spot, and you just pick which set of data you're going to pull for the report that you're making. And then we have user. This is the user that owns the report. You can view other people's reports. You can change other people's reports. You can run other people's reports. You cannot save changes to someone else's report. So if you go into someone else's report, you make changes, you want to save it the way it is, the system's going to make you save a copy of it that you own. When we go to the name column, you can see all these were pulled through from our old system because they're our old naming way, where you would have to put in like the shortcut name and then the long description. So we pulled all those through for you. Let me go see if I did this. If you don't like how it's named, you can save a copy of it. You can't change the name, but you can save a copy of it, which is over here. This is the copy. And then you can give it a new name, save it under a new name, get rid of the old report, have the new report. The other thing you can do if you don't mind it, but it's just not that clear, is I'll show you when we go in there, if you make notes, when you hover over that report, I made a note that says hello from Susie, you'll see the notes that are on there. So you can just add a note to tell you what it is too. The type column is going to give you, is it a standard report? Is it a custom report? It'll tell you that. And then ID is unique to each report. You're allowed to have multiple reports with same name, etc., because we'll give them each a unique ID. It's going to tell you the date it was created and the date it was last run, which can be helpful when finding your reports. Often you maybe want to go in, and if you click on one of these columns, it'll sort A to Z, and if you click on it again, it'll sort Z to A, or that's like 100 to 0, 0 to 100. You can see the most recently run reports. Or if this was yours, you'd see the reports you have most recently run. And it's easy to find kind of what you're looking for. Well, this is the one I ran last September, maybe. This is the copy. You can, from here, export to a PDF, export to Excel. So you don't have to go into a report, open it, do all that. You can just export it from here. And there are ways, when we get to filters where we're deciding like what we're pulling for this report, you can add filters that are in the report where you have to open it. You can also add filters with what we call a prompt, meaning if you click from here, it will pull up that report and it'll prompt you to say like, what parcels do you want? What school district do you want? Whatever it is. I'll show you that when we get inside. And then over here in this last column, this is the delete column. You can only delete reports that you own. So if you own a report, you will see a red X, and if you click on it, it'll say, are you sure you want to delete it? Here's the PDF. This is a custom report. Custom reports have to go to PDF. They can't go to Excel, so that's grayed out. I will get more into the grid tools, and how to pull specific data once we get into a report. Any questions on this before I go into and make a new report? I'm going to make an assessor's report. You can see when you make a new report that you get to pick which data set you're pulling from. I'm going to pull an assessor's report, and it gives you the user. I could, copy a report to someone else if they're not very good at this, but I want them to see it on their screen when they pull it open. You can copy a report, send it right to them. This is going to give me all of my fields. When we get into the report generator, we have these tabs where you do different functions in the different tabs. We start in our fields tab where we're selecting our fields. Around the edge, these tend to be similar on all of our tabs. Down here, you can save a report. I'll get into that a little bit more later. You can navigate by going next. It's going to move you to the following tab. We can move forward and backward through our tabs, and then previous will get us to our previous tabs. You can also just click on the tab that you want, and that'll bring you to the tab. Over here, we can go back to our report list. We can get a new report straight from here. We can save this report as. So again, if we're in here and we want to save it to someone else, we can save it to them. Or if this is someone else's report and we want to save a copy, you have this save as, and we have our FAQ. You can see that our X, which was grayed out on the report list screen, is now blue. If I were to click it, it would close this report, send me back to my report list screen. My question mark is again going to be my help page. This is a help page for the Fields tab, and it's going to go through all the information that you would need on the Fields tab. Each tab has its own help page. Getting into the middle, the grid here, we have again our grid tools. So when you want to select a field, you click on here and it selects the field. To find the field you want to select, my favorite way is to go to the text column. This field column and the text column, they're related. This is the shortcut name for the field. This is the long name for the field. The file and file description are connected. This is the shortcut name for the file. This is the descriptive name for the file. Having these file and file descriptions, we did not have them in the old report generator, and it can be really helpful when you're looking for a field and you don't know where to find it. So if you're like, I want a field that I know is near the value, but I don't know what it's called, I could type in TX PRVL. If I go up here to my hamburger, contains TX PRVL, and it's going to pull up everything that's in that file, and I can see basically all the sort of related fields, the fields related to the one that I'm looking at. So that can be helpful. My favorite way to go in here is to go to the text column, and to hit my hamburger menu, I'm going to grab a parcel number. If I can type in parcel number, I'm going to grab a parcel number and a value record. Next, I want to grab a value. I don't want previous year values, so I can, instead of contains, the ones we tend to go to here are contains, not contains, or starts with. The other ones you can use, they're just not as helpful in this context. So if I click starts with, I'm going to get everything that starts with value, and say I don't want any taxable values and they're bothering me. I can stack these filters. So I have starts with values or does not contain taxable. So now I'm getting just my values, right? We can stack these filters. I could also do those filters and then sort by alphabetically, however you want to do it. So I'm going to grab a few values here. And then I want township number. And I think I want to do a alpha field. I want taxpayer name, but since I have no tax, well, actually, that is going to give it to me. I can also clear that field so I get what I want, taxpayer name reversed. If I want to see the fields that I have, I can sort over here by selected and get them. Oh, oops, still giving me this. I gotta clear that filter. And it'll get me the fields that I've selected. I can also go into the print tab and see all the fields that I've selected. And if there's something that I want that I don't have, I can go back to the fields tab and grab those. But if we go into the print tab, we do not have the grid tools in the print tab because the order that these list in is the order that they will list on your report. So the top one's going to be your leftmost column, the bottom one's going to be your rightmost column. If you want to change that order, you can come over here to these little dots on the left, grab and drag. If you want a field to be available in the report, but you don't want it to print in here, if you uncheck it, it's still a selected field in the Fields tab, but it's now not printing because we're in the Printing tab. We will put an automatic width in here. There's a formula that they run through for like what width we think is you're most likely to want. You can edit this, make it wider or narrower if you want. If you're choosing a numeric field, so like these value fields, no matter how small you make it, we are not going to cut out the largest value that lists. We will cut out totals, but we're not going to cut out individual values. So I'm going to take my total market here down to 5, and I'm going to show you that it's not going to be 11, it's going to be narrower, but it's not going to get any narrower than my largest number. However, if your field is an alpha numeric field, like this taxpayer name, and I do 5, it's going to cut off the rest of it. I'm only going to get 5 digits, 5 sections, 5 whatever of that name. I mean, it's only going to be 5 wide. And then we list the field and the text and the file and description here for you so that you can know exactly what you're working with in this column. This custom report option we'll come back to later. If I hit next, we're in here, there's a sorting. So our automatic sort is a parcel sort. Oh, hold on. Continue session. Your session is about to expire. Would you like to continue? For security reasons, if you sit with this open for an hour, we log you out. Any changes that you've made and have not saved will be lost. If you're working on it, that shouldn't be a problem because 20 minutes in, we give you this warning that says your session is about to expire. Would you like to continue? If you click continue, it restarts your hour. So if you're in here actively working on it, you can click continue and restart your hour and you never get kicked out. If you walk away for any reason, I suggest clicking this save report. It'll get a quick loading save. And then if you walk away and you don't come back, even if you get kicked out, everything that you've done is saved. You can come back, you can come in here and grab everything you need to. That's why we've got this save report on the bottom of every page, because it's real easy. You don't have to go looking for anything. You just click save report, walk away to the counter, whatever it is that you're doing. Before you leave this page, we suggest clicking that save report so you get your changes saved. Okay, back to sorting. So our default sort is a parcel sort. If you'd like to sort by something else, you can. This is where you'd sort. You can do ascending or descending. You can also add section and page breaks here. A page break is going to be a section break that also breaks by page. If you add a break, you have to sort by that field. So that's why this is red. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to click ascending. It's going to sort by that field. Any section and page breaks, you're going to get summary data for those section and page breaks. That's kind of a reason you might want to do that. I'll explain that when we get to our summary tab. But let's sort by township city, and then I want to sort by house and garage. And then if we run out of sort options, our system goes back to the default parcel sort. And this will allow me to show you what that looks like. If I go next, filters. Filters is the way that we keep from printing our entire county every time we do an export. So you can click any of the fields that you've selected for this report. So I am going to click the township city. The reason I selected the township city is not because I want it to print, but because I want to filter by it. I want to be able to say I want these certain townships, and I want to put those city numbers in there. Then we choose a condition. We get equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, like, and range. These top ones are pretty straightforward. They're outlined in the help page. The like is interesting. It really only works for alpha fields. It doesn't work for numeric fields. You can't say I want something that's like 2 and get everything that has a 2 in it. But if it's an alpha field and you say I want everything that's like fourth, you're going to get everything. If you have to type in 4th, you're going to get everything that has a 4th in it. We had this. There's a section of the state where they're looking into like U.S. Fish and Wildlife data, and several counties have like more than one taxpayer that's U.S. Fish and Wildlife, so they're trying to find all their U.S. Fish and Wildlife. So they came in here and they put taxpayer and they put like fish. Then you pull in all the taxpayers that have the word fish in it. And that's a good like use for the like, is you're looking for everything on 4th Street. You're looking for everything with fish. One county tried to put in US and they just put in US and they got nothing because in their system it was U.S. and it's not going to pull that. It's not that smart. It has to be specific. The other condition that's goofy is range. If you choose a range, we require a prompt. So if I do equals, I could say I want township 1, and then every time I run this report, I'm just going to get township 1. Or I can go over here and I can click prompt, and that means when I submit this and I want my output, it's going to give me a pop-up or a prompt to say which townships do you want. If I go in and I choose range, range requires a prompt. We don't give you the option, we take away the variable and we gray out and we give you a prompt. So that's what we're going to do. This and or we'll come back to later. That or is a little bit goofy, but we will come back to that later. If we go to the next tab, this is our summary tab. You can get a count, which is just a number for every field, but these totals, min, max, average, you only get those for value fields, only for fields where it makes sense to do some math on it. But we're going to do that for all the value fields and let you see kind of what that looks like. Remember when I said that this summary data you're going to get for everything that you do a page break or a section break by? That's true with a caveat. It's not going to work this time, and I'll explain to you why when we get there. If we go to our output page, you can click summary only. If you say summary only, you only get lines for the fields or for the section and page break. No, we were going to get our details. You can click portrait or landscape. You can choose your paper size. You can select to go to a PDF or an Excel. Remove protected officials, we default to no. If you're running this report for something external and you would like any protected official information removed, you can easily change that to yes. Stagger total lines, this defaults to no, but we'll show you why you might want to stagger your total lines. Options page. At the assessor training and at the auditor training, I used our options page to make a new report. If we click yes, it adds a thing to say, do you want your report notes to print on your options page? And we can click yes or no. We'll do an options page with report notes, and you can just see here, subheading goes on every page of your report. And we'll just do that there so we can see it. And then for notes, we'll put that there and you'll see where it goes. You can also determine the margins. So if you're trying to fit a lot of information onto a page, you can change the bottom, top, left, right margin. You can make the font size smaller. You can go back to the print tab and make the widths narrower. All of those things like help fit all the information on the page. So you have a lot of control about that. Then down here at the bottom, we have submit, which is going to run us through our prompts. We have submit and save, which is going to save what we've done and run us through our prompts. And we obviously still have that save report. So I'm going to submit and save. There are a couple of automatic prompts. If you have 2 sets of files on, it's going to ask you if you're using your New Year's files or not. If we're in CAMA, it's going to ask you which CAMA year we're using. Most of the prompts we tell you, but those are the 2 automatic prompts. And then here's the prompt that I told her. Remember, I had a filter and I had to give me a prompt. I'm going to do a township range from 1 to 2 so we can see what 2 townships looks like. We have this cancel button here, and if it's taking a long time, you'll be able to see this initializing and then loading, going through. If you were to run a report without a filter and it's taking forever, you don't have to wait. You can hit that cancel and go back. When the report runs, it goes to your downloads folder. Usually you can see it from here. If you can't, you can go onto your computer, into your downloads folder. That's where the report will be. It's not in your spool file or your tax bill folder. It's going to be on your computer in your downloads folder. You can see here's my options page. Hold on, there we go. Here's my options page. My report's name is test. My subheading is subheading. It's going to give us all the filters, including some of the automatic filters, but I had the one filter go on there. It's going to give me my report options, my fields and what I broke by, the report fields and what summary data I got, and I chose to put the notes on here. You can also do it without the notes if you want to give someone an options field and you don't want them to see your notes on it. Then when we go down, you can see we're at our default. I had it sort by house and garage, and then I had it sort by parcel number. You can see right here, there's no house and garage value, so we're back to our default parcel number sort. If we go down, we'll be able to get, once we hit house and garage value not equal to 0, the house and garage value will determine the sort right here. So the parcel number sort no longer matters. Now we're sorting by house and garage value. You can see that we did not page break by township. And that's because because I didn't print the township. And in the sorting tab help menu, it will say, if you want to have a section break by a field, you have to be printing that field. If you're not printing that field, our report generator cannot break by that field for you. If we go down to the bottom, you can see I told the total market value to be 5 digits wide, and it's not, because it's getting as wide as it needs to fit all my data in. But down here, it's cutting off my totals. We will cut off totals. We will not cut off individual data. I also told my taxpayer field to be 5 digits wide, and it is. It's cutting off my taxpayers. So if I want to be able to see the summary data, this is where I would stagger my totals lines. So if I go to my output and I stagger my totals, I'm going to show you what that looks like. And we're going to take this back up so we can see. So I have chosen to print the township city and have staggered my totals. So then this time I should get, see, it saved my options here. I should get summary data. So, oh, I got too wide for my one page. Here we go. Summary data. You can see that they're staggered. So I had it give me, oh, I thought I got counts. We'll do this one more time. Yeah, I did have counts. Count records, but is it not giving to me in here? Interesting. So the counts, it's giving me counts. It's saying I have 100 and, oh, this is goofy because there's record numbers. Okay, hold on. Let's do this again. We're going to get smaller amounts here so that we can, I'm going to go landscape so like it looks pretty. And then we're going to go back to our filters. We're going to filter a little more so you can see things more easily. So say I want things in my township city range that either have a house and garage that's not equal to 0, or I'm going to click this or and show you how the or works, or have a total market value that's greater than, let's say, $1 million. So if I add those two, and I submit and save, huh? Okay, so every once in a while, something goofy happens and it doesn't like to save the changes that I did. Did I not tell it to go to landscape? I swore I did. Maybe I didn't. And I go out of the report and back in. That's my trick. And then I try to do it again because it's my job to break things. And then if I can do it again, then I make the programmers fix it. Okay, so here, and if I can't, then we keep going. Okay, so here, you can see that I said I only wanted ones with the total market value greater than $1 million or a house and garage value. So that's what we're getting. Our report is a little bit shorter. You can see for our counts here, I have how many record ones and twos? A lot. The count is not going to give you the number of unique inputs. It's just going to give you the number of inputs that list. So I have 63 parcels that are listing, 63 records that are listing, but then I only have 36 with a house and garage value and 61 with a land value. So since I have the township print, we're now getting these township totals. If I go down, I would get my township 2 township totals. And then if I get my, and then I'm not getting to my total totals because we now have township 3. And the reason we now have township 3 and 4 and on and on and on is because of this OR. The OR filter is stronger than the AND filter. The OR filter kind of breaks it. So when you see the OR, it's saying we're going to grab all parcels, all records, all lines that fit the filters above it or the filters below it. So we're getting everything in township city 1 and 2 with house and garage value. And we're going to get everything that has a total market value above $1 million because this OR filter is splitting it and it's saying we're taking everything that fits the filters, the 2 filters above it or the filter below it. So if we still only want townships 1 and 2, we'd have to add that below the OR so that we have the top 2 and then we have the bottom 2. Now, if I do a prompt, a range here and a prompt, it's going to give me 2 prompts and I'll show you. Here's my first prompt and it's pre-filled. Here's my second prompt and it's not filled yet because I could do something different. It's up to me. So if we do that, then we should get back to only townships 1 and 2. Questions on the OR filter? And then we have our total here. So we have our summaries for 1, 2, and total. I'm going to move on and show you a custom report. So if I go back to my printing tab, a custom report is just a different way to print the information that we're looking at, which is why it's here. So if I click custom report, I open my custom report page. Over on the right, I have different options. I have a garbage can, which would just remove my custom report, send me back. It'll say, are you sure? Because you're going to get rid of everything on this page and you can't get it back. And if that's what you'd want, you click yes. If it's not, you click no. If what you really want is just to view the fields, down here we have a view fields button, and you can view the fields that you have, and then you can go back to your custom report. If there are fields you want, you don't have, you just go to the fields tab and you get those fields. I can zoom into the page and zoom out of the page. That's not changing anything. It's just changing how I see it. I can also make the font size larger, smaller. I can make things bold. That is actually changing data on the page. I'll show you how those work when we have data on the page. Here I can change from landscape to portrait and back again. I can change my paper size. So I get the same options I have on my output page, and I can change my margins. I get the same options. If you change landscape, paper size, margins here, they will also change on your output page and vice versa. If you change them here, they will change in your print tab. It's just 2 ways of getting at the information. Here you can change it while you see it. We also have an undo and a redo button down here. So if I want to add, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. I'm across the room. Okay, well, if I want to add, you always start by adding at the left. Wherever your margin in tells you that you're going to add, that's where you add. If you want to move over, you would add a text field, do a bunch of spaces till you get to the spot in the page where you want to be, and then you'd add a field after it. So if I do that, when I click on that little plus sign, I can insert text, I can insert a report field, I can add a row below it, or I can remove the row I'm on. So if I was to say insert a report field, I'm going to get this window opening over here on the left where it's letting me select a field. I can type in what I want. I can position to a certain way down. I can use all my grid tools in here again. You could see the automatic sort was by field name, but you can also sort by any of these. We'll get to this repeating field and trim in just a minute here. But if I want parcel number, I just click on parcel number and it pulls my parcel number into my report. If I want to make it bold, I can click this B. Or with this field selected, I can go over here and click, oh no, that doesn't work. That only works for text. I want it to work, but it doesn't. Okay. But say I didn't actually want one of the fields in or the space or the whatever, this little blue X will remove and it'll push my parcel number back right where I wanted it. So if I go in here again and I grab a field, I'm going to, let's grab taxpayer name. And say I actually wanted to put something before it. I can click this little plus from before it and I can insert text. And I can say, dear, I'm going to put a space, taxpayer name. And then over here after it, I'm going to say, how are you? Because I want you to see what that looks like. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a repeating field. We explained repeating fields in our FAQ. Repeating fields are any fields that where you can have multiple of them on a parcel. Oh, that's funny. Repeating field right here, it says repeat. You have multiple on, so it's anything that's connected to a value record, because you can have multiple value records on a parcel, anything that's connected to a special assessment or a ditch, because you can have multiple of them. If it's in the same file as a repeating field, it is going to be a repeating field. If it says yes here, then you know it's a repeating field. If you're inputting a repeating field, it'll give you a pop-up and it will say, do you want the detail, the totals, or both? If you choose detail, it's going to ask how many lines of detail you want. And so that number of lines, we're going to say, if I say 2, it's going to print the first 2 records, record values, or the first 2 special assessments. If there's 3, we're just not going to see the third one. If I say both here, which is what I'm going to do, it's going to insert 2 fields for me. It's going to insert one that's the detail field with 2 lines and one that's the total. I could also click non-repeat and it would just put it in as a non-repeating field. So if I go here and I hover over it, I can see that this first one here, if I hover over it, it says this is the total market value with up to 2 rows. So this is my detail field. It's listing up to 2 rows. And if I hover over the bottom one field, it's going to say this is my total. So I input the detail and the total. Say I wanted a little bit more space here, I could go in here and I could add a row and move things down. If I remove a row, it removes everything on that row. So say I go here and I remove a row, it's going to get rid of everything on that row. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I can go down here and I can undo. Oh, that didn't work very well. That undo went back too far. Redo. Oh, there we have it in there again. Okay. So I'm going to go and output this. Actually, before I output this, let's make it less output. So when I go to the output, it's going to give me my pop-ups. And then because I have my options page, it's going to give me a file. So this is going to be a file that's in my downloads folder, and it's going to have my options page and it's going to have my output. If I don't want that, I can get rid of the options page and then it won't give me a file. It'll just give me my output. So here you can see I have my parcel number, I have my deer, and then I have my name, and then how are you is way over here. And that's because this name field is 35 digits long. And so it's adding all this space. If I don't want the white space for the extra 30, for the, whatever the difference is between what it is and what it could be, I can trim this field. All these values are already trimmed because I have them narrower. So let's go in and I'll show you what it looks like to trim a field. And I'm going to grab different values. So if I go in here and I do this, I can trim this field. And that means it's going to cut out the white space. Say I want it bold, like I said, I can click here and I can do bold and I can make it bold. If you're doing text and you want only a piece of it bold, that's where this comes in. If you were to hover over this and do bold, the whole field would go bold. But if you only want the middle, you select that and you come over here and you do bold, and it's just going to do that one word. It's actually going to separate it out for you. And you can see if I do this, this is actually making my words bigger and smaller. I'm going to go in and I'm going to delete these fields. And I'm going to grab different fields. I'm going to get land value to both. Oh, hold on. I'm going to do that again. We have to look at our undo and redo. Okay. So report field. If I come in here and I click trim here, it's going to trim them before I input them. So if you're like making a letter and you know you want all your fields to cut out all the white space, you can come in here before you even start, trim all of them and not have to worry about it again. But if I pull in the land value here, that's what I want to show you. Oh, I just did one. That's fine. I did it as a repeating field. We'll go look for it. Okay. So then if I submit, we'll see that it trims. Oops, I forgot to turn off my options page. So now it's Dear James, and then that's right there because I don't have a space. I can go back and I can add that space, and then it's giving me my values. Now, if I, let's get rid of our options page. I'm going to go and I'm going to simplify this. Actually, I'm going to remove this row. And I'm going to show you our labels. So one way to have a custom page is to have labels. We have a couple of presets. We have a 3x10 preset and we have a 2x4 preset. You can mess with these and make them whatever preset you want. I've seen people who, like right now, some people are sending ACH and they want it to go all the way across, but they want 3 to a page. And then they want some margins in between there. So height margins, they want 0.5. You can come in here and you can make this whatever you want, right? Whatever you want to do. But these presets work pretty well. If you have non-Avery, you can typically come in here and mess with these to make it fit your non-Avery 3x10s. When you do a label, you are editing this top left section, and then all the rest of these are like, you know, ongoing pages or ongoing lines. They just flow through. So if we do that and we submit, there we are, we're pulling that in. And I really thought that, oh yeah. I want to show you what those repeating fields look like. I need to do township filter only. And I'm going to go back here. Actually, I'm going to go here. And I'm going to make the font size smaller. And then I'm going to submit. So here you can see we're getting, these parcels have multiple records. So our multiple is listing up to 2 records. That's how that works. Okay, so that's your basics of a report generator. I'm going to show you, we have a couple of rules with Camma filters that I'm going to show you before we're done. If anyone has questions on kind of the report generator things, speak up. Otherwise, we're going into Camma. I'm going to grab a parcel. And then I'm going to grab minor and major category. Because the lists or the rules I'm going to show you have to do with CAMA minor and major categories. So I have just grabbed a parcel and the minor category. They're both printing. If I go in and I want to filter by a minor category, two rules. One, you can't filter by a minor without having a major. So if you try to filter by the minor, we're going to add the major. If the major has not been added to your report, we're going to add it. We're not going to print it because you didn't add it. You can go back here and print it if you want to, but we're going to just add it to the report. The other rule is for CAMA major and minor categories, they require a prompt, period. Not just for range, they require a prompt. And I'll show you why. So if we get in here and we submit, again, in CAMA, it's always going to ask you which library you want. And then here's the major. For the major categories, you're going to get this pop out where you get to pick which major categories you want. You can pick more than one. Once you submit that, each of the ones that you've picked, we're going to pull up the minor category for, and it's going to tell you this is the major category that you picked, and you get to select as many minor categories as you want to list on this report. And then it's going to give you the next one. You picked this. Which minor categories do you want to list on your report? Once you do that, it'll go pull it and give you your report. So that's just the goofiness, actually, like the really nice aspect of the CAMA. Now, if I go out to my report list again, I haven't saved this since last time I changed something, so it's going to queue me. When I get out here, if I hover over mine, if I have a note, hello from Susie, Susie's test note.
Ugh.
This one has nothing. If I have nothing, it's going to show me nothing. There is the report generator general. So have at it, give it a test run. If you have questions, give us a call. We are doing a report generator training on next week that's full, where people are, I'm not coming with an agenda. People are bringing like a custom report that they want to make, or a report where they're having a difficult time pulling the data that they want, or and you can come and be here with us for a couple hours and build that. If we have more people interested in that, we can certainly do another round of that training. But you can obviously just call us and help us work through something too. That's totally fine. Any questions? All right. Stop my